Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today has been such an incredible day. So one of my best friends proposed to his girlfriend of a handful of years, and it was great. It's great to see those two finally tie the knot, question mark, however that works, but it's great to see them finally pull that trigger. The reason I want to make this video today, aside from just enjoying this glorious day and wanting to share some things with people, is on Instagram at Sabrius 2.0. If you'd go throw me a follow, I'd greatly appreciate it. I've been getting a lot of questions from other fellow S1000 riders, so a couple of other brands, about launch control and wheelie control. And after my first video talking about the Brainerd track day that I had, they're asking me how much I actually trust the launch control and the wheelie control, which, if you don't know, are two separate different things. Launch control, you're at a stop. You are drag racing somebody. That's launch control. It keeps the front end down to an extent. We'll get into that. And then wheelie control is hooligan limitations. So, like right now, I'm putzing around. I'm in third gear. I don't know why I'm in third gear, but if I were to drop it into first gear, wheelie control's ultimate job is to keep me on the ground no matter what I do with the throttle. A lot of people, again, have asked me how much I actually trust this, and I didn't.
How dare you!
Before I went to that track day, and that's what I meant in that video, I did not trust it. I was not going to trust. Let me caveat this a little bit. I'm an electrician in real life. That's my job. I'm a union electrician up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My job is sensors. My job is electronics. My job is all that kind of good jazz. And I know how much they are potentially faulty or error prone and all that kind of stuff. So I never trusted it. Going to BIR, Brainerd International Raceway, was an opportunity for me to really play with this bike's settings. I had the wheelie control at max, I had the wheelie control somewhere in the middle, I had the wheelie control completely off, just to figure it out. It's the safest place to do it. It's the most controlled place, and by controlled what I mean is you go around the same track 120 something times, you end up knowing all the turns, you end up knowing all of the bumps in the roads. Thankfully there's no road snakes. So it's a great place to test wheelie control because all you have to do is figure out that turn, hammer it out, let off the throttle. You know where you're gonna go. That's all you gotta pay attention to. So, like I was saying with wheelie control, and I really hope this is a good test for some people, and a very clear showing of just how advanced. And I'm not sure if this is just BMW, I don't believe it is, but I know BMW prides themselves on their computers, their technology of this bike in particular. The S1000 has been known to have an ECU that is far more sophisticated than many others on the market. So take what I'm going to say with a grain of salt with your own bike, but if it's an S1000, ooh, perfect road to do this on, you can do this. Now, I'm in race pro mode right now. I have the wheelie control set to the absolute minimum, other than off right now. First gear, 7,500-ish RPMs. I'm just gonna hooligan the throttle, and you'll see what this wheelie control does. It lets me up, puts me back down, even if I just crank my right hand. Nothing happened. Now, is that the fastest way to launch? Heck no. Absolutely not. Somebody that can control the throttle, that can control the front wheel from doing this and then down, you lose an enormous amount of momentum when it brings you back down as far as your start. When you get really comfortable with wheelie control, you start to learn where the bike is going to shut you off. You can roll onto the throttle quite aggressively, and when I say roll on, I'm not just talking, I'm talking hammer it, but pull off at, a millisecond prior to bouncing off that limiter, whatever you want to call it, wheelie control. And if you're very good at it, you will cream somebody that just is relying on wheelie control. The two videos that I posted on my last, the two clips that I posted on my last video, racing those two ZX10s, is a prime example of doing wheelie control properly, where if you do wheelie control properly, it is a safety net. It's not a rider aid. It stops you from being an idiot. Wheelie control is there even though you shouldn't need it if you do it right. So again, back to those two ZX10 videos. One of them where I kept the ZX10 neck and neck, whereas the other ZX10 ran away from me right off the bat and I had to chase him down. Both of those ZX10s were lowered, stretched, geared, 1 down in the front, 5 up in the rear. They have a lot of acceleration, not so much top speed. There's no way a stock wheelbase, stock height motorcycle should have been keeping up with them. Watch these two clips side by side and you'll see that when I did wheelie control correctly, I kept one right with me. The other one where I bounced off that limiter, or whatever you want to call wheelie control, you'll see him run away from me. That's the big bad benefit of it. So I think there's a huge misconception of what wheelie control is. People say, oh, you beat me because you have wheelie control. It's not it. Because if you're using wheelie control properly, as weird as this sounds, you shouldn't be using it. It's a safety net, not an acceleration aid. It's there to be there in case you're a moron. But if you're not a moron, it's there to be there in case, I don't know, Aurora Monroe blows wind at you from in front of you and you can't stop the wheelie. It's there for that. The other thing that I'm going to test out here in a moment, if I can find another straight road and or opportunity to stop, is launch control. Now, launch control is not... That's cool. Launch control is sort of more complex in that it is, to an extent, there to help you, unlike wheelie control where it's a safety net. Launch control keeps you on the ground. You can gun the throttle all you want, flirt the clutch out. Another huge misunderstanding of this is people think I can gun the throttle, dump the clutch, and launch control is just going to do its thing. No, it doesn't work like that, and honestly, you will get hurt. Launch control is not meant to stop that, and it most likely won't. Have I tested it? Thank God, no. But I have had a couple launch controls where I dump the clutch way too fast, and the front end comes up real high, and it's not a pleasant, not a pleasant event. If I can show what launch control does and talk about it before I show what it is, launch control gets you to an artificial RPM limit set by the factory, or in my case, Bren Tuning, to bring the RPMs up to what they think, and I'm guessing this is the power band. Now, when you are activating launch control, you hold the starter button and you will see a white light show up right here, a solid white light. That's, you know, launch control is on. It gives you a counter. You can only use launch control like 3 times, but it's there to keep the clutch from overheating, so it's a good thing. You want that 3 count there. But anyways, you get that white light on there, you gun the throttle, you slowly but quickly let the clutch out, and you keep that front wheel hovering right above the ground. You're not letting it wheelie. You probably want a little bit of wheel off the ground. Maybe, maybe not. I'm no drag racer, but I feel like you would, because I feel like it plants the rear wheel in the ground. But that's what launch control does. It limits your RPM, so you're not just going to do a 15,000 RPM launch, which is just going to turn your clutch into a supernova. And then it is also a mild form of wheelie control up to 3rd gear. Once you shift, it's either into or out of 3rd gear, wheelie control is off, because, well, you don't really have to worry about power wheelies at that point. The other thing is, if you want to safely, end quote, safely, rev bomb your bike, it sounds awesome, because launch control bounces off a computer installed limiter, so all you hear is like a run, 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 and it sounds awesome. So yeah, if you want to show off a little bit, that's another reason you can do it. But launch control is amazing. I have raced from a stop a decent handful of bikes, and I would like to say that whether it's rider mod, whether it's this bike or anything, from a stop, on a stock wheelbase, not some crazy tryhard that's got a bike built to do this. This bike's tough to beat. It's very tough to beat. Oh, the other fun thing that I've been learning how to do, turn off traction control. I can do little clutch ups now. It's fun. I'm not very good at them. We're gonna turn traction control on again because that was a little scary, but the little clutch ups I'm able to do and actually do it right. You can hear that sound that you want to hear. That's something I've always wanted to do. No, I do not want to do, quote, dank nooners, end quote. I just want to be able to ride out a wheelie for 80 yards on command, because that just sounds like a lot of fun. This is launch control. So when you come to a complete stop, if you don't come to a stop, it'll put it in the pit lane limiter and no one wants that. See that red light or that white light? You got the 3 starts available. Watch the RPMs here. It won't let me get past that. You get ready? And that's launch control. That's also how you really screw up launch control, because as you guys can see, I swung really far right there. So when you shift into 3rd gear, it looks like, because it's off right now and I'm only in 3rd. I didn't shift into 4th. The other thing, I'll post a couple pictures of this on Instagram. I did finally get rear sets. Something that really bugged me about the stock rear sets that I took off, it had the stock exhaust hanger somewhere around here, and it was hideous, and there was no way to get rid of it unless you grind it off, and I wasn't going to do that. I didn't really like the way it looked. So yeah, I'll be honest, that's the reason I spent more money than I ever wished to on foot pegs. I also got passenger pegs for my wife, matching black ones from Rizoma, which are gorgeous. Basically, other than the motor, all the silver aluminum, I wanted to say aluminum-ish stuff is gone. Maybe the axle holder's up on the front forks, but not replacing forks to get rid of the gray. I did actually paint with some industrial rhino lining the kickstand. My neighbor is a outside sales guy for automotive detailing stuff, and he gave me this insane sort of rhino lining stuff that you could shoot with a 50 cal and it will just glance off. It's amazing. This stuff is incredible. So even I got the kickstand gray. I've had a lot of people ask me about wheelie control, about launch control, and about the differences between them. And really, the differences, if I had to boil them down, are launch control is expected to be used. Wheelie control is a safety net not expected to be used. Wheelie control is idiot-proof. Launch control is not. If you dump the clutch in launch control, you will most likely loop your bike. I have this in Race Pro mode. I have all the performance settings set to the max. I have wheelie control turned all the way down, not off, all the way down. For this bike to have such a tameable front end with wheelie control on the lowest wheelie setting is mind-boggling. It really is incredible. I'm really happy to talk about this. I'm happy to answer all of these questions about launch control and wheelie control. Please, if you have more questions for me, drop a comment below. Throw me a chat on Instagram. I'd love to actually talk to some of you people. Some of the most fun that I have on Instagram is staying up to obnoxious hours at night, talking to some of the people that wish to talk to me, and it's great. It really is a good time. As condescending as that sounded, I really mean it. I do like talking to a lot of you people. The dozen or so people that message me darn near every day, you know who you are. I love you all deeply, and I hope you know how much joy you bring to me with all of your questions, your comments, telling me stories about your day, like today having my best friend propose to his lady friend. Those things are awesome. Tell me more. Comment below. If you could do me a huge, huge, huge favor, please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video. Do all the good stuff that all the YouTubers ask you to do, because it does make a huge difference. It is very important, and it keeps me going, keeps me wanting to make videos. Honestly, I just want to talk to you all. It's a lot of fun. Thank you all. Have a great day.